Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and tricks you can do on this phone. So, to get started, we will open up our settings. I apologize, this is the second time I'm recording this, so some of the things are already changed. But in any case, let's get started by opening up our display. We're going to start off simple. Here at the very top we have a light and dark mode, which just allows you to permanently change your display from light to dark mode. It's completely preferential. Now under there we have dark mode settings, which allows us to have it set so the device will switch from light to dark mode based on time of day, for instance, or on a custom timer, which you can see how, for instance, during nighttime it would be beneficial for you to have something like dark mode enabled, so you don't get flashbanged by your more than 3000 nit brightness display. Now, if we move further down, we have motion smoothness, and here we have two options: adaptive and standard. Adaptive is the that runs up to 120, while standard is going up to 60. In general, you want to select the lower option if you don't see the difference between them. So 120 just gives you nice smooth motion when scrolling up and down and just generally doing all things throughout the device. So it means that you have 120 frames in a single second, every second. While the 60 just cuts that in half, so you have 60. And you can see how scrolling down, for instance, up and down gets you less frames, meaning things will look just a bit choppier. But if you don't see a difference between these two options, by selecting standard, you will get a better battery life. Even though both of these options are trying to cut away battery consumption by lowering down the refresh rate when there's nothing happening on the screen, like for instance right here, it still consumes the battery when you're doing something or when anything is moving on the screen. So if we go to motion smoothness, this right here is animated, so it automatically forces the device to run at 120 frames. So you can choose whichever one you want, and like I said, the lower one will get you better battery life. Now, if we move back and move over to adaptive color tone, this is something similar to what Apple has with their True Tone, I think it's called. I finally remembered the name for it. And what it does is when you enable it, it tries to match the color temperature, or the temperature just of the display itself, to the environment that the phone is in. So with it enabled, it's trying to match right now the white table right here with the white right here. Personally, when I'm looking at it, it kind of fails at it, but on the camera it actually looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to turn that off just because if we go next to the screen screen mode, we have two modes. We have vivid and natural, and vivid has the white balance slider right here, which allows you to manually set it yourself. But if you have the adaptive color tone enabled, you no longer can do that. So you want to select whichever option you prefer. And in terms of vivid or natural, it's just a saturation of the display. Choose whichever one you prefer. I myself like the natural, it just tones down the colors, but vivid also has the option, once we turn that off, give me a sec because I did mess up right now. So when you turn off that True Tone thing, you have the option for advanced settings in vivid mode, and that allows you to tone down the colors right here manually, each individual, red, green and blue, along with having the slider for vividness, or correctly named saturation. Sliding it to the other side will get you a more vibrant saturated image. So choose whichever one you prefer. Now moving back, we have easy mode. This option I'm just going to touch upon is a mode designed for most likely elderly people or visually impaired people. It cranks up the size of the applications on your home screen, removes or increases the, maybe not increases, decreases the amount of applications that you have on a single page, as it makes them much bigger, and reduces the grid, so you have only like 3 applications in a line or horizontally. And vertically, I think you only are limited to like 4 or so, maybe more on this device, as it is kind of remote control-y in terms of how long it is. So yeah, you might want to double into this if you have some kind of problems seeing the device, identifying icons on your home screen. I won't be enabling this, as I believe it if I remember correctly, it requires the device to be rebooted for this to take effect, so I don't really want to do that. Now moving back here, display, we have Edge panel, and the Edge panel by default actually would be visible somewhere right here. So I'm gonna just, there we go, bring it back up. Normally it looks like this. So you can barely see a faint little outline right here. You can swipe up on it, pulls out the panel. Also, usually it has a little bit more clutter in here with the, let me see if I can find it. I can't remember how to re-enable the crap icons, but I believe it was this, to be honest. Oh, there we go. So by default you have the Galaxy AI crap right here, and it's all four of them are at the very top. So you can get rid of them as they are not very good applications. You can do most of this without even needing this. I personally like to have more space right here to accommodate for more applications. Personal preference. Now you can see I have two rows right here. Typically when you first use the dock, it only has a single line, so single like column of it, but at the moment you start adding more apps in here, so as an example I'm just gonna pull up a couple more right here. So the moment you start plopping more applications, it eventually will give you a second row, and after you add even more, it then becomes scrollable. Now I still haven't exceeded the number to be scrollable, but then you can just scroll up and down. Now, in itself, this dock is already useful, as it allows you to, at any point, whenever using any application, just pull it out, and for instance, grab something like Gallery, you can hold it, and you can see it then allows me to drop it and either split screen at the top, split screen at the bottom, also cancel, or if I drop it in the middle, it allows me to do the pop-up view. Now this one option is actually really nice, and you can use this application and quickly hide it away. Oops, I just messed up the button. So it allows me to hide it away, like so, into an app head, which I can just move around, and I can access it whenever I want. I can have multiple applications open like that in app heads. So as an example, let's just bring up another one, browser, drop, and now we have two. I'm gonna minimize both of them, and you can see now we have a panel that allows us to choose from whichever one, and you can obviously, like you've seen before, have both of them open at the same time. You can have more than that open, and you can also simultaneously also split screen. Though right now it's kind of hard to see, so let's get rid of this completely, and you can see right now we're split screening. Also, as you see me just do, you can hide it away without doing the app head. So if you swipe it to the edge, it just kind of goes away and it's kind of opened state, and if you click on it, it opens back up. So pretty nice feature all throughout, just for multitasking. Now another thing you can do while we're already at the point of multitasking, when you have split screen like this, you have this three dots right here. When you click on it, it gives you the option to add it to favorites. And now we can add it to Edge panel or to home screen. Or you can do both of them, I think. So I'm just gonna do Edge panel. If I pull it out now, I have access to it right here. And just to kind of showcase this, I'm gonna close this fully. Click on it, and boom, it opens up both of these applications in the state that I left them in at the same time, which makes it much nicer to just quickly split screen. Also, the position of this can be arranged. So as an example, you could have YouTube right here at the top and the browser below, and if you save it like this, that's how it's going to open up, and that makes it so nice. Anyway, I'm gonna go back just to the settings and move over to customizing this panel, which we can do by selecting Edge panel and handle. You've seen me have it completely invisible before. Now the way you can do this is by sliding the transparency slider to high. This will make it invisible, even though you can see it right now still. When we go back, it will disappear. And I like to make it be positioned right where the volume buttons are. Typically, I would also match the size of this to the volume buttons, but because these volume buttons are on a smaller side and they are so high up, I like to just keep it as it is or maybe even you could increase the size just so it goes a little bit lower. Makes it a bit easier for you to pull it out later on without needing to reach all the way to like where the volume buttons are, as they are, like I said, pretty high up on the phone, and the phone itself is pretty long. So now, with this being completely hidden from view, you can still access it, no problem. And in here, we also had the panels, which I kind of clicked on but didn't talk about. So you can add additional panels. I don't have the option to right now, but if you are signed in to the Samsung account, you will have Galaxy Store button right here. And in Galaxy Store, you can find additional panels that usually are paid. They're not expensive, they're like $1, $2 or so for you to buy, which obviously extends the functionality of this panel. And whenever you add any kind of panels and tag them in here, you can then swipe to the side on this panel to just flip through the pages that you have added. Okay, now moving on to navigation bar. We have buttons and gestures. I'm going to talk about primarily about the gestures because there is some changes that have happened. So if we go into with the gestures being enabled to more options, you can see this is very limited. This, and generally, I would say, is unacceptable for a phone that costs this much from a company that is one of the biggest phone manufacturers to be, number one, removing options from Android to push their garbage ass accounts. Because what they did is they removed features that were here. Number one, they already shitified them. So if you're trying to, for instance, hide the bar, which you can, before it was visible right here for you to hide the bar. It was done in a way that if you're using third-party launcher, it didn't work well. So it wasn't an optimal option for anyone who is using third-party launcher. Now they completely removed it from here altogether and just left one option. So now to actually get this, you would need to download Good Luck. And just to showcase this, if I can type correctly, good. There we go. So you have this application called Good Luck. It is available to you only in Samsung Store because, like I said, they want you to sign into their garbage account. And this is the only reason why you would ever sign into Samsung account for this trash. Or, well, the application is actually good, but so it's called Good Luck. And in here, you can see a bunch of other things you can download. I have two of them downloaded. I have the Navstar and QuickStar. Now, Navstar is the one that you would be interested for editing your navigation bar. As a quick little example, right here when we have gesture navigation and we go back, for instance, you can see that the navigation bar is cutting into the text. Why the hell is it doing that? That's not how default Android works. It should have been transparent, so why is it not? So it's already removing portion of your display from being used by having gesture navigation for no freaking reason. Not how default Android works, and they have the option for you to undo this. It's hidden in that application. So, bringing it up, we have things like transparent hint. So transparent hint would basically remove this white background in any application that you have open and make it fully transparent like it is on my end. Though kind of hard to show it right now. Let me just open up something like settings. So you can see right now it's no longer cutting into the text itself that is visible on the screen. The text is going all the way to the bottom edge of the display. So that's one problem that I can remove. And in terms of customization for the bar, you can either hide it away fully, which we do have the option to do somewhere in here. So it's a very hidden option. At the moment, I don't remember how it's called, and I don't really feel like it's time to really search for it and try to figure it out, but you can mess around with them. The moment you enable it and go back into the navigation bar, more options, you will have the option to actually hide it fully away. If you're using the default launcher from Samsung, there shouldn't be much problems. If you're using third party, I recommend doing what I have done, which is make it much smaller. You can see it's still visible, it's just less visible as the transparency is increased to the max. You can see right here and here, and the width of it is shrinked. This is as much as I can push it. As you can see, these two little lines right here, so I can't do it anymore, but this is as far as you can take it. And another thing that you've seen right here is the QuickStar, another thing that I personally like, which allows you to hide away some of your icons right here in your status bar. So just more customization. And again, more options that typically Samsung, or not Samsung, but Android normally has, though maybe not the new one. Anyway, one last thing that I wanted to show, which is what I've had enabled also throughout the entire video, is the animation speed. So if we go back and go to developer options, you will first need to enable developer options by going into about phone and software information and build number. Tap on that 7 times, click on OK, and this will then enable developer options in here. And we can swipe down past like half point and you will find this: window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animation duration scale. These by default are set to 1. And for instance, window animation scale is this window right here. And you can, for instance, turn it off. So it removes animations all like completely out of it. And the window will just pop instantly into view instead of being animated like it is, for instance, right now. I like to select it on a 0.5. This cuts the animation by half. So it saves you half of the time that you'd be waiting for it. And because these fonts are fast enough to not stutter with that, it's a basically no-brainer option. It's just so that it's hidden away like this for you to need to enable developer options to get this going. So that's one thing. And going back to the main settings page, there is one last thing that I wanted to show, which is, if I can find it, modes and routines. Actually, there's 2 things I want to show. So in modes and routines, you can select routines, and you have a couple different things. So if we go into routines, you can select add, select add place, I guess. So I'm gonna make it something like workplace, cool, while using the up. So it knows right now where I'm located at, and from here, I can select save. So it knows exactly where I am, and let's see, I'm gonna do mode. I think we should be able to create a custom one. Nope. Okay, there we go. So under routines now we can click on plus, add what will trigger this routine. So let's see, if I enter location, place. So place, I'm gonna select work. So the moment I'm at work, what it will do is when I arrive, so when I arrive at this location, then we can, for instance, set the phone to do not disturb mode, on, save. Arrive at work, good enough. So now it immediately goes into do not disturb mode as I am at work, so in this location. And we can set another routine, for instance, for this. When we leave this location, it automatically turns off do not disturb mode. And you can get more crazy with this. So for instance, you can do smart home things. So if you leave your home, it automatically turns off the lights. If you're at home at a specific time, that time is reached, it enables your lights. So it gives you very nice versatility to smart home specifically, which is what I tend to use this for. So you're less likely to need to interact with it. At that point, it becomes actually smart. So I highly recommend checking this out. It does take a little bit of finesse to set it up, but the moment you do, it's just kind of do it once and forget it. Now, one last thing that I wanted to talk about is under the audio, I believe, or no, sound and vibration mode. And if we scroll down, you will find the sound quality and effects. And here you have the adapt sound. We can tap on it. By default, I think it's turned off. So you will need to first enable it. And then when you click on the text, it takes you to right here. So we have several modes. We have the under 30, 30 to 60, and 60 and over. Choose either whichever one you fall under. And what this does is it creates or enables the custom-made equalizer for this age range hearing loss. So if you are aware, you do lose your hearing as you get older. So this specific thing tries to accommodate for that and boost those frequencies that you'd be losing with age to give you that hearing back of things that you want to hear by making them louder. Now, this only works when you're using something like headphones, earbuds, or anything like that. It doesn't work with the phone speakers itself. So you need to have, for instance, earbuds. But Outside of that, what I recommend doing instead of choosing one of those is actually doing the Add Personalized Sound Profile. What this allows you to then do is create a custom equalizer specifically for you. Now this also will then allow you to partially create an equalizer that compensates for your headphones or earbuds lack of specific frequencies or lower frequencies. So as an example, if your earbuds tends to struggle with some, I don't know, let's just say like 200 hertz frequencies, by going through this test, you might hear those frequencies and those headphones will not be able to really produce them in a way that you can hear it, even if you can hear well. So you would select that you can't hear it, and therefore the phone would automatically boost these frequencies, the 200 hertz, to be a little bit louder, and hopefully make up for the lack of capability of your headphones to produce this sound. So you can see how this would kind of compensate for lack of quality in your hearing periphery by just creating a custom equalizer. Now, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful as it sums it up. And if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.